Haulers, study up now. Tap like, hit subscribe, and let's go.
Question 1. A vehicle inspection report must be completed at the end of each workday and signed by the driver, even if no defects are found. True or false? False. While a driver must complete a report, signing is only required when defects are noted that would affect safety or result in a mechanical breakdown. Question 2. Air tank drains must be operated manually on all air brake systems at the end of each day to remove moisture and oil. True or false? False. Many air brake systems have automatic drain valves, and while manual draining is still necessary for some, it's not required for all systems. Question 3. When driving a combination vehicle, the air lines between tractor and trailer should be crossed during hookup to ensure proper service and emergency brake operation. True or false? False. Crossing the lines will result in the trailer having no emergency brakes and could be extremely dangerous. Question 4. If you must drive through standing water, you should apply light brake pressure while driving slowly to help dry the brakes afterward. True or false? True. Applying gentle pressure helps generate heat to evaporate moisture from the brakes and restore normal braking. Question 5. When backing a commercial vehicle, you must always sound the horn before and during movement. True or false? False. Although it's a good practice to use the horn before backing, it's not mandated by federal or Vermont CDL regulations. Question 6. The purpose of a dual air brake system is to provide two separate braking systems in case one fails. True or false? True. Dual systems are required for safety redundancy and allow partial braking if one system fails. Question 7. When transporting hazardous materials, you may park within 5 feet of the traveled portion of the road if your vehicle is attended. True or false? False. Federal regulations prohibit parking within 5 feet of the roadway, even if the vehicle is attended, due to safety risks. Question 8. An engine governor prevents the engine from exceeding a safe operating speed. True or false? True. Governors limit RPMs to protect engine components from damage due to overspeeding. Question 9. You may legally operate a CMV in Vermont while using alcohol-based mouthwash, as it doesn't impact BAC results. True or false? False. Some alcohol-based mouthwashes can cause false positives in breath tests and may trigger DOT violations. Question 10. Stab braking involves applying the brakes hard until the wheels lock, then releasing and reapplying once they start rolling again. True or false? True. This method is used for emergency braking in vehicles without ABS to regain control after lockup. Question 11. Drivers of commercial vehicles must carry medical examiner's certificates unless they operate exclusively within Vermont. True or false? False. Interstate drivers must still meet Vermont's medical standards and carry appropriate certification as required by law. Question 12. Cargo that is not sealed or contained must be checked by the driver within the first 50 miles of the trip. True or false? True. Vermont and FMCSA regulations require initial cargo inspection within 50 miles and periodically thereafter. Question 13. You must use chains on all drive wheels when Vermont roads are under chain control conditions. True or false? True. Vermont law requires chains on drive axles during severe winter road conditions to ensure traction and safety. Question 14. Brake fade occurs when brakes become too cold and lose effectiveness. True or false? False. Brake fade is caused by overheating, not cold temperatures. Excessive heat reduces friction and braking power. Question 15. The tread depth on steering axle tires must be at least 4/32 of an inch. True or false? True. Federal and Vermont regulations require a minimum tread depth of 4/32 on front tires for safe handling. Question 16. The minimum safe following distance in ideal conditions for a 40-foot commercial vehicle is 1 second per 10 feet of vehicle length. True or false? True. This rule of thumb helps drivers maintain a safe gap for reaction and stopping. Question 17. If a placard falls off your hazardous materials load during transport, you may complete your route if it is less than 25 miles. True or false? False. Missing placard is a serious violation, and you must stop immediately to correct the issue before continuing. Question 18. Anti-lock braking systems allow you to maintain steering control during hard braking. True or false? True. ABS prevents wheel lockup, helping maintain directional control in emergencies. Question 19. To test the parking brake, you should release the service brake and then gently apply the throttle with the parking brake set. True or false? True. This confirms whether the parking brake holds the vehicle under light acceleration. Question 20. A pre-trip inspection only needs to be performed once a week if the vehicle is used daily. True or false? False. A pre-trip inspection must be performed before each day's driving to ensure the vehicle is safe and compliant. Question 21. In Vermont, you may renew a commercial learner's permit CLP only once within a 2-year period. True or false? True. State law restricts CLP renewals to a single instance per 2 years. Question 22. When descending a steep downgrade, you should always downshift before starting the hill. True or false? True. Downshifting before descent helps use engine braking and prevents overheating the service brakes. Question 23. A driver with a CDL may never operate a personal vehicle if their CDL is disqualified. True or false? False. CDL disqualification applies to commercial driving privileges. Personal vehicle operation may still be allowed under a standard license. Question 24. The gross combination weight rating GCWR includes the weight of the towing vehicle, trailer, and maximum cargo. True or false? True. GCWR is the total allowable weight for the entire combination vehicle and load. Question 25. Overhead clearance signs always reflect the actual measured clearance from road to structure. True or false? False. Clearances may change due to road resurfacing or snow and should be approached with caution. Question 26. A CMV driver must signal continuously during a lane change and leave the signal on for at least 100 feet before the move. True or false? True. Vermont and federal regulations require continuous signaling for at least 100 feet before changing lanes. Question 27. It is acceptable to use a vehicle's cruise control when driving in heavy rain, snow, or ice. True or false? False. Using cruise control in slippery conditions is dangerous and may cause loss of traction and control. Question 28. Under Vermont law, it is illegal to text or use a handheld phone while operating a commercial motor vehicle. True or false? True. Both state and federal law prohibit handheld device use while driving a CMV. Question 29. When inspecting a coupling system, the fifth wheel jaws should be open to confirm proper alignment. True or false? False. The jaws should be closed around the shank of the kingpin, confirming the trailer is securely locked. Question 30. If your ABS warning light comes on after you begin driving, you should stop immediately and call for service. True or false? False. While the ABS may not function, normal brakes still work. You should continue driving cautiously and have it serviced soon. Question 31. You should always test service brakes at low speed after starting to drive to ensure they work properly. True or false? True. A rolling brake test confirms that the service brakes engage and stop the vehicle correctly. Question 32. A broken leaf in a leaf spring suspension system is not a cause for vehicle out of service status. True or false? False. A broken leaf or more than one missing leaf can result in the vehicle being placed out of service. Question 33. A driver is allowed to use the 2-second rule to determine following distance in a commercial vehicle. True or false? False. The correct method is 1 second per 10 feet of vehicle length under 40 miles per hour, plus an additional second over 40 miles per hour. Question 34. A fire extinguisher with a rating of 5B, C or more is required for all CMVs. True or false? True. This rating meets DOT safety requirements for most commercial vehicles. Question 35. If a tire is found to have a tread depth of 2/32 inch on the front axle, the vehicle can still be operated. True or false? False. Steering axle tires must have at least 4/32 inch tread depth to remain in service. Question 36. While driving at night, it's recommended to dim your high beams within 500 feet of oncoming traffic. True or false? True. This is required by both Vermont law and safe driving practices to prevent blinding oncoming drivers. Question 37. When inspecting brake linings, they should not be soaked with grease, oil, or brake fluid. True or false? True. Contaminated linings reduce friction and are a serious safety defect. Question 38. You must carry a spare set of fuses for all electrical systems unless your vehicle uses circuit breakers. True or false? True. This is a DOT requirement unless the vehicle is equipped exclusively with circuit breakers. Question 39. When loading a cargo tank, the driver may leave the vehicle unattended during filling if it is grounded. True or false? False. Federal regulations require the driver to remain in attendance at all times during loading or unloading hazardous materials. Question 40. Driving with underinflated tires increases the risk of a blowout. True or false? True. Underinflation causes excessive heat buildup and stress, which can lead to tire failure. Question 41. During a trip, a driver is only required to check load securement if the load has shifted. True or false? False. FMCSA rules require checking securement after the first 50 miles, then every 150 miles or 3 hours thereafter. Question 42. In the event of an on-road emergency, triangles must be placed within 5 minutes. True or false? True. Hazard triangles must be properly placed promptly to warn other motorists after a roadside stop. Question 43. All CDL holders in Vermont are required to self-certify their type of commercial driving. True or false? True. Self-certification helps determine medical certification requirements and appropriate CDL status. Question 44. The best way to handle a front tire blowout is to brake hard immediately and steer to the shoulder. True or false? False. Braking hard can cause loss of control. Hold the wheel firmly, ease off the accelerator, and steer smoothly to safety. Question 45. Reflective tape or devices must be present on the sides and rear of trailers to improve nighttime visibility. True or false? True. DOT mandated conspicuity treatments are required to prevent collisions in low visibility. Question 46. You are allowed to drive a CMV after 60 hours on duty in 7 days if operating under the 70-hour 8-day rule. True or false? False. Under the 70-hour 8-day rule, you must not drive after accumulating 70 hours on duty in 8 consecutive days. Question 47. If you are caught driving with any detectable amount of alcohol under 0.04% BAC, you may still be allowed to continue your route. True or false? False. Any detectable alcohol 0.02 or more requires you to be immediately placed out of service for 24 hours. Question 48. A CDL is not required to operate a vehicle with a GVWR of 26,000 pounds if it is registered as a recreational vehicle. True or false? True. Recreational vehicles are generally exempt from CDL requirements, even if over 26,000 pounds GVWR. Question 49. You must check that slack adjusters move no more than 1 inch when pulled by hand with brakes released. True or false? True. Excessive movement indicates improper brake adjustment and must be corrected before operation. Question 50. An empty trailer has better traction than a fully loaded one due to less weight. True or false? False. Loaded trailers have better traction. Empty ones are more prone to skidding and poor handling.
Hope that helped. You're one step closer. The next video or the cheat sheet will take you the rest of the way.